Hey everybody, this is the wall dog, Vampire Wallace. So strong, so strong, so intimidating, so scary. Um, I went to the gym last night, and I was still. So let me describe this, and you may or may not think I'm crazy, but I'm a gosh darn vampire, and I don't really have a reason to lie or it's supposed to be a documentary series almost, and what was I gonna say? Um, like magic and it's a long story short. Let me tell you the situation. So the situation was that I was hanging around some very strong alpha leadership, and one thing that I like to do is I like to let other people do their job, and I enjoy it when people are doing their job, and it's not my job, it's not my responsibility. So uh, with that being said, I hung out with these strong, very strong alpha leadership people. So I'm not using any of my alpha energy, and the my body's reaction. So there's this thing called being alpha aggressive. I'm describing the terminology so I can describe the situation. So alpha aggression. So alpha is like it. There's like a magical energy inside of you. All right, just bear with me as I describe this. So like long story short, alpha aggressive is not like normal aggressive. It's totally different. It's you know how it feels like when you're being bullied by a person, right? And you get like all flustered and stuff like that. Imagine that, but like magical energy. And you're not actually aggressive. You're not actually anything like that. But over time, the alpha aggression energy builds. If you don't like do certain things, if you don't like, if you're not reacting. So like I'm like super duper um, the result of that and not reacting and not, is my body being like really tired, just basically tired and full of alpha energy that I'm not using to transform myself. It sounds a lot like being a vampire. It is a lot like being a vampire. But anyways, I got a lot of vampire energy too. So there I am, toughing it out. My leg is like totally like hurt. I'm like hurt, and I'm walking on a treadmill. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, it's good for me. It's also good for me. It's just really good for me. Like I realize that one of the ways you grow up as a man is by um, making hard choices, yada yada yada. But it's like being tough, being strong, making decisions, and yada yada yada. Walking on a treadmill when you're hurt. Anyways, so there I am. I get off the treadmill, turn around, so strong, so full of alpha energy, so full of vampire energy, and it's just like, but I'm not using it right. I just turn around, I'm just like limping. I'm just like this. I feel like this old man, or I got my beard, got my hat on. I'm just like everyone. I'm in pain. I'm a super duper full grown man right here. All y'all just, I'm like walking like 1.5 miles per hour. Like not really walk. It's not a walk. It's a limp. I'm just limping. I don't feel like absolutely appropriate. Absolutely correct. Everything about it in my mind was like absolutely like see a guy who looks like he's an old guy, but he's not. He's a rock star, and his legs hurt. He's hurting, and he was just working out, and he's not. You know, it's been a long day. Everything about that was absolutely correct. But in my mind, I'm like, I can transform if I want to. But no, not really, because I was in pain and like agony and like super dark feelings and just like, no. No, not you guys. And there's like some young guys around. I turn around and I'm like, they're not sure. They're adorable. To me, they're adorable in the sense that they're like, oh, look at this guy acting big, and I'm like limping. I'm like, they're like, he's still acting big though. So dumb. But what I want to talk about on the topic of energy and being a vampire, like I go out to smoke and then I go back and there's like, why is there so many people, right? That was my thinking. I was like, I'm gonna lift weights or whatever, and I'm like, I can't. It's too many people. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna bench press, you know, work my shoulders. And I was like, all right, so go do that and do that for a bit. And there's people. I could hear people uh, that are like, oh my god, why is he doing that to himself? Like, no, I can't watch this. That feeling and that vibe and that, like, this pretty person. I can't. No, I love him. No, he's hurting himself. It's all weird, right? Everything about this is weird. I don't talk to anybody really. Um, I gotta go out, smoke again, come back, and it's like vampire time, right? I'm using my vampire energy because I'm hurt. I'm hurt, but like not my. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm still like got that leadership mentality. I'm like thinking to myself, and I'm an asshole too, so I got leadership asshole, and I'm limping and giving everything. I'm like, I'm using that vampire energy. And I look so flippin' creepy. Look like I look like a clown, but I also look like a really creepy. Like my movements are all like, uh, what's the right word? But it's like, it's just very unnatural. It's like you ever see something and you're like, that doesn't look like it's natural at all. Well, yeah. And I'm like, start lifting weights, and I'm like, everything. It's funny the way I dress, the way I look. Obviously, you got long hair, long beard, but that don't mean shit when you consider what I am. Basically, what I'm saying is that I stand out so much that it don't. I could my hair could be down in my butt, my beard could be down in my butt. I could be wearing women's clothing, and it still would not distract from the simple fact that I'm a gosh darn magical creature or something else. Something that catch the brain is like, and so, anyways, I wasn't wearing women's clothing. I was wearing some tie dye shorts that I really like. Calvin Klein, very stylish, so strong. And but one thing was amazing that I think was amazing. If I saw anyone do this, it would be amazing for several reasons. Basically, I sat down the what when I was using my vampire energy. I sat down and I had to get underneath the bar, for bench pressing. And like I knew in my mind, for me to pull off this maneuver, would have to use so much like vampire and some alpha energy, and I did. So like my body was like unnaturally twitching, and it was like, if you could see it, I wish I could demonstrate it, because it's like watching a person just like I'm not trying. I literally didn't look at anybody. So that's my mentality. I'm not looking at anybody. So that means basically, to me, that means I'm there for me, right? I'm not like putting on a show or anything. But I can imagine seeing myself from another person's perspective. It's just like during that moment of like my body, just like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to. My muscles are like spazzing, like as I'm doing this, jerky kind of movement, and my muscles are kind of like unnaturally spazzing, and I'm like, to get underneath the bar, quickly. And I'm like, my movement, my speed is all creepy, and it's just everything. It's like it's not one thing. Like you know, it was all correct. It was all correct, and here's why it was correct. Given everything, the situation, given, and I'm not saying I feel bad about the way my just let's say it's magical energy affects my body, but I do want to be considerate of onlookers, people who are just like straight up watching me, which to be fair, if like it's a two-part thing. Like I realize I'm very watchable, right? But also like that's not why I'm there. And also, you know, I realize that like a person doesn't need to watch me. It's not like I can't help it. No, it's like no, you can definitely help it. Whoever's like straight up just watching me, especially during that time where I'm like using my energies to get underneath a bar because I'm hurt. Like no, no, you definitely can do your own thing. Let me do my own thing. That's not, you know. But you know how it is. You know how it is, Missile Strong. Today's my day off. I'm gonna I'm gonna go work out. Although my shoulder feels like it was like literally dislocated, but I like relocated it back and like pretty gruesome. Uh, but I know I do like use energy to like manipulate my body or whatever. And I found out that when I hurt myself, there's a process involving keeping it going, so it heals maybe just a little bit faster. Maybe I just enjoy the burning sensation. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe all of this is just nonsense. But um, yeah, I'm gonna really utilize today to be in my own little world. Gonna do the computer thing. Gonna meditate in the sun. Drink coffee, and I think today's gonna be kind of cold, considerably colder than it has been. So I'm like, well, I told myself I was going to work on my, or should I say, set up my, my. I've got two programs. I got the artificial intelligence. I got the trading program, and I've had the trading program inactive. And basically, you know how like you reach the end of a completion of a project, and the project's supposed to be like doing something. You're supposed to be like, okay, I'm gonna set up for it to do, its thing or whatever. Well, I haven't done that. And I told myself last night, I was like, well, you're going to go ahead and get that done. I'm like, well, and that's how I work sometimes. Like if I really don't want to do something, I'm like put it off until later that evening. And I'm like, well, there's some other things like I got to sort through some mail for I've kind of got this weird thing where I'm like, there's like an itch, I get an itch for things or whatever. Well, I've got this itch where I want to just like make double, triple check the fact that I've got my I don't have any like large bills, large payments that I've accidentally missed. Because my bankruptcy is still ongoing. So yeah, like nothing too bad, nothing too. But I got a lot on my mind, a lot of different things that I'm kind of blocking out. And as I've said in other videos, thoughts and emotions affect energy and my body, and also outlook on life, and I don't think I'm depressed. Fortunately, I realized I wake up this morning, I'm feeling pretty good, but there's definitely that kind of there's there's so much that I'm blocking out. Um, so to not feel what I just described, not feel overwhelmed, and so yeah, I think that's right. I think that is correct. Just block it out, man. Man, I want to read my book at the library. Read my dragon book. It's getting good. It's been good, but it's getting really. So they got dragons and they got griffins. A griffin is an eagle and a lion. And it flies around and it's badass. So it's like talking about griffins, and the people, the main characters, are like chilling with the griffin dudes, and the griffin dudes are like total like, man, I'm a griffin dude, man. Like they got this like totally like different attitude, but they've got like so much attitude, and I think it's like I can relate to it, and I want to relate to it in ways that are like inappropriate that I shouldn't talk about, so I won't do that. But the reason why I say that is that like the the dragons and the dragon riders, they're just like, yeah, we're the coolest, you know. Does not need to be said. We don't really need to tell everybody we're super cool. It's just, we just ride dragons. We got these big dragons, and they're just look at them. Look, they're flying around. Like we don't really need to. What do we need to say? What else is there to say? We're the dragon riders. And the griffin dudes are like, screw you guys. We hate you guys. We got little bird. We got bird lions. we got we got we got these we got these half and half creatures. Like it's something like, you got a stupid creature. I said I'm instantly offending myself because I start thinking about otters, and I'm like, I feel so bad. I hate myself right now for calling any creature stupid. But you got a stupid creature when in order to make it cool, it's a mythical creature, right? But in order to make it cool, you had to like combine two semi scary, like kind of scary creatures. It's like a dragon is just a dragon, right? Dragons are scary. They are like it's just what it is. But they're like, okay, well, we have to combine a bird. Birds aren't that scary. So like a bird and a friggin' lion. Now it's cool. Now. So anyways, these Griffin Riders, right? They're like, we gotta help these guys. And like the bird lion, like have the bird lions, the griffins, they can talk, right? But they can't talk out loud. They can talk telepathically, and but the way that they do communicate is like they do telepathic stuff, but they also like as they do it, they click their beaks. They go click 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 click. So here's the thing. What if I did that? Like, whatever, like, okay, look, I'm not the only telepathic type of person out there, right? And that's like look, it's like normal every day. It's like, I know it's like a whole thing. It's like oh no, that doesn't exist. Oh, there's parts of our brain that deny that, blah, blah, blah. Look, I just want to talk about this real quick, okay? Because it's funny. Like, every time, like, a little telepathic thing, or maybe I do like I catch myself doing like a telepathic thing or whatever, la 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 la. Okay, okay, like, all right, okay, look. Every time that happens, I want like a little bird beak. I go click 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 click, and people are like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, these bird lions, whenever they do telepathy, they go click 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 with their beaks." They're like the people who know me, like, or the people who like know me, right? How weird I am. They're like, oh well, that makes sense. Everybody else would be like, what the F is going on? What did I miss? I missed like I feel like I'm in a sitcom or like in a TV series and I missed the first 30 episodes. How did we get to this point? I've to many questions that need to be answered before the beak. Well, to be fair, I'm on episode 100 and something, so there are a lot of episodes. Um, anyways, anywho, last night, okay, look. So this is a thing that guys do. They talk shit, right? And sometimes they talk shit to a point where they know that they're like doing damage to and like convincing the other guy to make a bad decision, right? That's what guys do. Some guys. So anyways, the other day my grandfather's like, "Hey, you know what the girls, you know what the ladies, do you know what the ladies would like?" I say, "What, grandpa?" "You know, if you got a nice collared shirt, you know, you shaved your beard." I was like, "What was that?" "Oh, no, no." He's like continues talking. He's like psychotically talking, right? And I'm not saying my grandfather's psychotic. We all get psychotic at times. But anyways, he's like, "No, get a nice shirt, shave your beard, get your hair, trim it down, trim your hair, shave your beard, wear a nice shirt, and I bet you get like you sit down at your fancy restaurant, you sit down, I bet you get like two marriage proposals right there." And me being the little shit that I am, I was thinking to myself, I'm gonna let this impact me. I'm gonna no, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. And my brain, I know what my brain's gonna do. My brain's gonna say subliminally, well, I better shave my beard. So I've been thinking about it, and it's so funny because every time it turns me on. And here's why. Here's why. Let me describe this specific thing and why it turns me on. And it has nothing to do with any kind of orientation or anything like that. But specifically, my brain. I'm turning myself on because of what my brain's doing. This is what I'm trying to describe because I think it's awesome. My brain subliminally is saying, well, I should shave my beard. I should change my ways. But then in my brain, I guess it's part of my alpha brain. I don't know, part of my leadership. But I'm like, nah. And I can just imagine this imaginary caricature. So that's a big word. It's too big of a word for this early in the morning. Imagine this fictitious imaginary caricature of my grandfather saying, "Yeah, yeah, just cut off that beard." And I'm like, no, no, I like my beard too much. I like myself too much. I have too much knowledge about the power of beards, and I really enjoy myself, and I like myself, and that specifically, that kind of reasoning is it turns me on, and not. I think that kind of reasoning of like um, in any person at all. So standing by what they, you could say, I could glorify it and say standing by what you believe is right. I can make this whole dramatic scene, but um, I'm just being honest. Like if I saw a person just they're getting told like 12 different things by 12 different people, and they're letting it inside of them, but they're at the end of the day or the next day, they're like, no, I don't think I'm gonna cut off all my hair. Nah, nah, nah. But like, still, like, obviously it's subliminally impacted that person, like it did me. And they're thinking about doing it, right? But they're like, nah. Nah. That should be I don't think it's technically correct, but I think that should be the one of the slogans for. I'm not going to speak for all of Dothan. I've only been at like part of Dothan, right? Like I only lived in this like small area of it, right? I ride a freaking bicycle. Um, but I feel like the slogan should be, meh. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. Even though I don't want to, what I feel like doing right now is just singing for a few minutes, get myself pumped up. Particularly singing female artists, strong female artists. Really enjoy that. Probably enjoy that more times than singing male artists, honestly. So, all right, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching and hope you have a good day. I think today's Tuesday. All right. All right, bye, guys. Bye.